If you watch my channel, I did a video about fragrances that was hype that, in my opinion, didn't really deserve the hype. So I decided to do something different. So in this video, this is going to fall on three categories. These are fragrances that deserve the hype that they got. These are fragrances that didn't get enough hype that they should have got. And these are some fragrances that, if they would have received the hype, one or two of them probably would still be in business now. So you guys know what the drill. Let's get it. Hello guys, welcome back, and I'm Max. And the first fragrance really is the Haus. I remember doing a video and this viewer came on and told me what he was wearing. Never heard of the Haus before. Then I did some research. I'm about 85% sure that these fragrances was gifted. If not, they would have never got video reviews on them. I think US Watchers was thinking by them getting gifted the fragrances that maybe they're just overhyping these fragrances, but in reality, this company is outstanding. And the house I'm talking about is the Haus of Nullifer Deneul. Now, I ended up buying one. I loved it. Ended up buying two. I think I ended up owning probably 13, 14 of their fragrances. Anywhere from King Nomar, the Trajan, the Lake Marriott. All of them are stunners. And you want to talk about the best niche fragrance brand, buck for buck, bang for bang. I'm even including Mancera in this list because when these fragrances first come out, the high is going to be like $150. And I'm telling you, bang for bang, buck for buck, they outdo Mancera. The next one on this list is actually going to be a line. And I came across these fragrances about 4 years ago from this lady named Paulina Fragrances, Paulina Perfume, something like that. And she really introduced these fragrances about 4 years ago. I really trust her reviews. I came on after her review and I ended up liking these fragrances and I went through their whole collection. And now it began to gain more hype. But really, this is supposed to be hype 4 years ago. And the line I'm talking about is from the Haus of Swiss Arabian, and that is their Wild collection. Now I own about, I want to say about 8, 9, 10 of these, from anywhere from Ambrose 7, Ambrose 1, Oud 1, Oud 7, Oud 74. They all are stunners, especially the ones in the rose gold bottles. The other ones are nice too, but these fragrances should have been hyped a long time ago. And that just come to show you, although she had a lot of subscribers then, she's really not considered popular. And just because she's not considered popular, people should have been jumping on these fragrances 4 years ago when she came out with the video. And that's their Wild collection line. The next one is actually a Haus that if they would have received the hype that they should have been receiving a long time ago, they'll still be in business today because you guys don't really understand how great these fragrances are. Now, I end up going through probably, I think I got probably 10 from the line, 12 from the line. They no longer produce fragrances anymore, but I wish they had, and I wish they had received hype so they wouldn't have had to sell their company. I couldn't find any reviews on this brand before I end up purchasing them because one thing about collecting fragrances, the bottle has to fit the criteria. And then if the fragrance is good, you add to that collection of other fragrances. But I'm going to read you a comment from one person that know about this fragrance. Hey Max, greetings from the UA. Man, you're literally exposing my biggest secret. Then he goes on to say, they might not be the most inventive now, but their quality is top. Honestly, I'm low-key gatekeeping this fragrance brand. It's the only part of my collection I never tell my friends about, despite all the compliments. I'm telling you, just because you haven't heard of this brand, sometimes you just have to take a chance. Well, I'll take the chance for you. But if you take the chance, I'm telling you, it's a niche fragrance brand, and they don't do inspirations and all that kind of stuff. They come up with their own creations, which I love. And the brand I'm talking about is Amarino. I'm telling you guys, that's one person who knew about this fragrance, and he said he gatekeeping it from everybody else regardless of his collection. I own about maybe 10 of their fragrances. All of them are stunning. For a niche company that you never heard of, all of these are banging. They make quality fragrances with natural smelling ingredients that you cannot beat. And that's the Haus of Amarino. Quick Q&A, how many sprays do you wear when you're wearing fragrances? And with that method, how many compliments comes your way? And I'm going to give you my answer that might change your game coming up soon. Now let's get back to the list. Now the next coming up on this list is actually a fragrance from a niche brand that I never heard of. And I ordered this one, and I got 5 more coming, so that's a shameless plug of a video I got coming up next. But if you want to talk about a fragrance that give you that thought of the Mediterranean French Riviera, this fragrance here particularly gives you that mindset. And while they was out hyping French Riviera, I think that's an overhyped fragrance, but this one here is stunning. It smells like natural fruits and citruses, and it's like you're walking through the Mediterranean. And that's coming from the house of Alex Simone, Antaresi Eau Fresh. I'm telling you, this smells like some natural lemons that's almost ripe, that's just poured on your skin. But only thing I wish was different about this fragrance, although it smells great, the performance is not really good. It's decent, but you want to talk about something that smells like you're walking through just citruses and fruits and the essence of the Mediterranean. This here is one you need to check out. And hopefully the other 5 that I have coming in soon, which will be tomorrow, hopefully the performance is better than it is. And if it smells like anything like this, it's going to be a fragrance house you need to check out. And that's from the house of Alex Simone. The next one is coming from a Middle Eastern brand. And my first video, although it was terrible, I did on this brand, but I wish the fragrance that I did a review on were actually stuck around, because actually I'm telling you, this is the only fragrance out of my big collection that I have a backup bottle for. And if you don't believe me, there it is. And it's coming from the house of Collage. I really liked Collage way back then, because back then they was doing their own original, but it seemed like now they want to do copies and clones of everything. I mean, even now they still make some good fragrances. It's discontinued now, but I wish you guys can get your hands on it. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection, and Beast Mode Performer, His Excellency. You can't find it anymore unless you probably in the UAE. Telling you, I wish this fragrance was hyped up and it'll still be around. And that's the brand of Collage. The next one coming up, you heard of this house, but the line, I'm telling you, is very, very underrated. And if you don't believe me, go check out the comments on the video I made. They're making comments like, one guy said he's trying to collect every one of their fragrances from this line. I think a girl said that, I'm giving away the secrets to great smelling fragrances, and it goes on and on. If you don't believe me, check out the comments in that video. And that line is from the house of Salvatore Ferragamo, and it's their Tuscan line. Now I end up owning probably, I think, 7 of these, and the 7 that I own, all are stunning. I'm telling you, you need to get your hands on them. Their regular price is kind of high, but you can find them at discounters for a good price. Check out something like Orto del Spizzi, or just look at the ratings and just go by that. But I wish in particular this line was hyped up, because it really deserves it. Next one up is actually a fragrance, and it's coming from probably my favorite house, but you never hear them talk about this fragrance here. I haven't smelled Alexander II from this brand, but all the ones I own from Xerjoff, this is the best one, hands down, and that's Alexandra Oriental. If you don't believe me, check out the ratings. While they were hyping up a lot of their fragrances, they are good to great, but to me, this is the better one, and it deserved more hype than it received. All right, guys, if you give me 2 minutes, I might change your game. Just 2 minutes, I'm asking. Okay, I've been collecting fragrances for early 2000s. And I was one of those guys that believed that you don't want to be that cologne guy. So I always wore 2-3 sprays max. Being honest, I sold a lot of fragrances that I can't get my hands on, like M7 Fresh, because back then I was looking for compliments. But what ended up happening to make me change my game, I was getting probably, that method, I was getting 1 or 2 compliments a year. I mean, if I was lucky. But what changed my game, one day I was going up my homeboy house to pick up some food. And I went up there, and he said he was going to play tennis. So he started putting on cologne, just spraying it anywhere. And I've known this guy for 50 years, and he's been kind of good with the ladies. So I said to him, and I kind of laughed, I said, "You wearing cologne to go play tennis?" He looked me dead in my eyes, and I knew he was serious. He said, "You wouldn't understand because you's a square." And so I went from making a joke about it to, like, this guy's serious. So I tell you what ended up happening. One day I said I was going to put it to the test, and I remember it good because the fragrance was Silver Mountain Water. So I sprayed it. We went to this club. It was windy, fall night, and everybody was gone from the parking lot. We got out the car, and it was these 3 ladies about 3 cars down. And about 5 seconds after getting out the car, they like, "Ooh, somebody smell good." And they was just talking about it. So they was actually talking about us, and as the wind was blowing, it was pushing it into their face. And he just found this out, that he really changed the game of how I wear fragrances. And now I go from getting 1 or 2 compliments a year to getting 3, 4 a month. And I go from wearing fragrances sporadically to wearing it daily, no matter what I do. I know some of you guys think reviewers come over here and just say something about compliments just to get clicks and likes. And half of them are lying. I even seen an influencer make a video about guys not receiving compliments. But what you got to understand is that the fragrance reviews that he like and that he do and he wear are like classic fragrances for years. Now, one thing I'll tell you about that is although they smell good, women seem to compliment you more on sweet fragrances, fresh fragrances, and gourmands. Women seem to compliment you on the notes of ginger and cardamom. And the note that they don't seem to compliment you on is patchouli. So take it for what it's worth. And at the end of the day, you still have to have some combination of being approachable, friendly, or have some kind of swag to yourself, and that will come. So let's get back to the list. Now, I spoke about this niche fragrance company earlier, and that's the House of Mancera. But they hype up all the other fragrances, and this one do get some hype. I think it deserves more hype because it's just that good. It go from being a mass appealing fragrance to have some kind of uniqueness to it that nobody have copied yet. But to me, this is probably top 1 or 2 Mancera Oud Lemon Mint. And speaking of compliments, this is probably my third most complimented fragrance in my collection. Women seem to love this fragrance. A niche brand coming up, and it's actually a really good brand, but I don't seem to see a lot of hype on this fragrance brand. From the bottles are stunning, the fragrance itself is stunning, and that's the House of Oud. Very stunning smelling fragrances, along with the bottle itself. Now, this is gourmand that women seem to love on you. I just took a chance because I like the bottle, and I wasn't disappointed in this house. Another niche brand that's coming up that I hear nobody talk about, and to me, I think they do gourmands and those type of fragrances that women will compliment you on. It's kind of expensive, but if you got the money, you need to check them out. And that's from the House of Lubin. One of their fragrances that, again, I wasn't spraying enough, I wasn't receiving compliments, and I sold it. A big mistake of mine, but I dove back into the house. Right now, I own 3 because they're so expensive. But I'm telling you, this brand is one you really need to check out. They do gourmands where they smell very, very expensive. If you didn't check out my most overhyped fragrance review, check out this video. If you want to see a part 2 to this, hit a like and comment. Everybody stay safe. I'll see you soon. Peace.